Hey mate.
Me. Yeah, so you're on the Nofap group too, right?
Yeah, I don't know which one you're referring to, but I'm on one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. I'm in a lot. I'm also not sure which one it was.
Mm. Yeah, I post some of my blogs on it. So
From where did you have the idea to make a live stream?
for now, I just something different. I've never done it before. I've done a few live streams here and then, but I've never done it with somebody else. So as it turns out, it's a bit harder to to get people to come on board and do the live stream. So
Okay.
yeah, and plus timing and scheduling and stuff of that nature as well. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
I was
sense.
yeah, I was just watching on YouTube, and they said that it needs 24 hours until I have the access to make live streams.
I'm not too sure, but I've had StreamYard for so long now, I just can't remember the conditions and stuff.
So how long are you doing Nofap now?
Probably about 13 months now, trying to. If that makes it, yeah,
Mhm.
rough give or take, yeah.
I was starting it, I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe
Mm.
something like that. Yeah, and I had some successes, then failed again until I figured out what worked for me.
Yeah, but how did you get into it? Yeah.
I thought already must be bad, but I did not do something about it.
Mm,
I just kept going,
mm,
like ever jerking off.
mm,
And then, yeah, I started already before personal development, so to work on myself and improving my
mm,
life. And then I don't know, one day, I don't know from where, I just found this Nofap forum, this online Nofap
mm,
astronauts, or I don't know
mm, mm,
how it's called.
mm.
And yeah, through this, I was coming into Nofap and reading this advices and that kind of stuff. And then I just started and tried it out.
How are you
How did
finding
it
it
was
so
for you?
far?
What?
Um, I'll answer the I, I was looking at a bunch of like I don't have an active social life at all. Um, yeah, one sec. Um, so I don't have a very active social life at all. So what I was just doing, I was bored one day and found like a bunch. I was just searching on YouTube, like you know, no friends, learner videos, introvert videos, things of that nature. And through the YouTube rabbit hole, um, I found like quitting weed videos, quitting porn videos, quitting whatever videos. And through the quitting porn videos, and that's how I found the Nofap sort of stuff and the red pill stuff as well. And
Ah, yeah, yeah.
it just built from that sort of thing. And I've saw like a few documentaries on Pornhub and things, just how Pornhub works and the amount of things of that nature. So I started in.
Yeah. Um, what I want to say? I was also watching one or two documentaries about porn itself and what it does to you, as far as I
Mm,
remember. I just thought it would motivate me to let go of porn more, and it did motivate me, but that was not. It was still not. It still did not help me out to get out of it.
mm,
I
mm.
still had problems. Yeah.
Was
So
was it because you were just used to it, or?
yeah, I was just addicted. Usually, I had already much willpower, and for me, it was at this point already less difficult, at least to do things like sport or something like that.
Mm,
But with porn, it was different because no matter how hard I tried, I just I was just coming back again and
mm.
had to start again.
Yeah, It's really easy because it's free. It's got this so many hours, 3 hours of porn. Like you can just look at. So it's really easy to look at different videos every day. So sometimes you might give that a false impression that it's new, if that makes sense.
How do you mean it?
Oh, like okay. What's one movie that you like to watch? A movie,
I
any
don't
movie.
watch anymore, but in the past I watched like hentais and threesomes and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. No, not porn movies, like Hollywood movies or something. Like you like
No,
watching?
I was not that much into movies or something like that, no.
Yeah. Well, it's like reading the same book every day. Sooner or later, you're gonna get sick of reading that book or watching the same sort of movie or eating the same sort of food. If that makes sense. So sometimes you might put it down, but what I'm saying with porn, there's so many free videos that you can look at. So each day you can look at something different. So
You,
it gives you like a false illusion it's new.
I'm not sure how you mean it. Do you mean that because the material is going out, you start to rewatch it, or?
No, no, you don't. Like I tend never to watch the same video every single time. So every time I looked at porn, it was a different video,
Mhm.
and because it was a different video, it gave a sense of it's new, different, and that kind of made it harder for me to kind of pay attention to the fact that I was looking at porn almost every day, and I found that hard to quit because it was always like a different video and all that.
Okay. I hear you
Yeah,
sometimes more louder and sometimes you get quiet
so
again.
I try to stay close to the mic. Sorry, I thought
Okay, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I'm not sure why I started at all. I
mm,
think I was just bored. Yeah, I was also lonely and bored. I think that's one of
yeah,
the most common reasons. You have too
yeah,
much access to internet, you're bored,
yeah.
and you feel lonely.
It,
By the way, I did not thought that you have social problems since you are more open and make YouTube videos and just talk about stuff.
yeah, yeah. Initially, because I was into film and literature for years and stuff, and I worked in film. Um, Sometimes with me personally, um, work, I'm okay with people. Some formal stuff, I'm okay with people. Um, Outside of that, face value stuff, I always found it hard to make friends and keep it consistent,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. And sometimes, because I've always been a bit of a loner that way. Um, so yeah, just some things I'm okay with, some things I'm not, if that makes sense.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't have a social life too, but
Mm.
you can still get out of porn. It's bullshit that you need
Mm.
tons of friends to don't jerk off anymore. For
Yeah,
me, it was hard too, but maybe, of course, social life can help for sure.
I
Uh,
think with I think with guys, I don't know if your experience is the same, but I think with a lot of guys, they don't have access to women, like girlfriends, one night stands, and maybe not so much with you, or I don't know, but I've noticed with a lot of guys, like getting women something's not the normal. And I think a lot of guys turn to porn as a substitute, if
yeah,
that
that
makes
can
sense.
be.
Yeah.
I think it has to do in both ways. So because they watch it, they don't have access to a woman,
Mm.
and because they don't have access to women, they watch it. So
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
it's a down spiral.
because the documentaries I've seen on porn, um, that's always been like a case with some dudes because they don't get one night stands, they don't get girlfriends, they don't do this, and they just turn to porn as a substitute, and that kind of demotivates their character growth.
What is your streak right now?
So,
What is your streak right
oh,
now?
okay. At the moment, with no with porn, it's probably about 2.5 weeks
Uh-huh.
at the moment. In terms of actually doing the act, it's probably about 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much times did you try it out already?
Oh, heaps of times. I can probably do 10 days okay when I'm conscious and paying attention. I've averaged 10 days.
Mhm.
So yeah. But the thing is, it's from when I first discovered Nofap, it hasn't been like a consistent effort on my end. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And uh, yeah, I mean, what is your goal there?
Um, to help because I this is where I relate to life skills and stuff. Um, the fact that I've got access to it and just do it, it's a relief thing. Or I duly act. I mean, I don't think about getting healthy related relationships. I don't think about healthy girlfriends or
Mhm.
things of that nature. So those are my reasons to help do it. It kind of it to take one thing out of my life so I can grow in another area.
Oh, and on which area do you want to focus then?
I just better social skills, social life, dating, healthy relationships as well, dating stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I believe you have first to be able to focus on yourself and
Mm,
later on woman, and not at
yeah,
first on woman and after on yourself.
yeah, yeah. That's what I've learned in my personal experience with drugs and stuff. Like I'm trying to create the groundwork for myself first, then expand from there.
So what helped me for porn? I know many people said you need a huge social life. Honestly, I still don't have that huge social life, but I was just using, for example, meditation, and I learned to live with myself and to compensate less of these emotions.
Mm,
Usually, you just have this feeling of loneliness, and because of that, you start to watch porn, or this time on the day when you're bored and then you don't know what to do and you start watch porn.
mm, mm,
I think you know what I mean.
mm. Yeah.
A- And yeah, so I noticed every time when I get bored, it is actually behind this. There are negative emotions, for example, that I don't want to feel or I don't want to push through. So I used porn, especially at the start, just to feel good, to sleep normal. I used porn also to have normal sleep, but then you are just you just are addicted. It's like with medicaments or
Mm,
with medicine. You have at one point to let it go,
mm,
because otherwise you will be always dependent on that.
mm,
So for me, I told always at the start, it's I have to do it. I just have to count the 90 days, or I just have to move to 30 days, 60 days to 90 days. And I tried it again, and and I remind myself I was in this Nofap forum, and there was a lot of other people. I was committed. I committed myself to with other people that we count to 90 days, and every day one of us sent a streak. So there are
mm,
many groups of this. Every day you send your streak if you are one day further ahead.
mm,
And most of the people always failed, and I failed sooner or later too. So we always failed. Like 80 till 90% always was falling off the race. And it just started again and again. It was actually the same story for the most people, like for me.
mm,
So I noticed at one point I was so frustrated. I just noticed this can't work. So
mm,
just using just discounting and trying again, this can't work. It's not
mm,
possible. Most people just say it, and then they say I see it also in the I saw it sometimes in the groups in this Facebook groups,
mm,
and I cannot really sense this guy will fuck up again. Because it doesn't work like that. The most people who get out of it just with willpower, they never had big problems with that. But there are many other cases where it's worse. So it's not just like, yeah, I start counting, easy, I found my way, I'm out of it.
Mm.
Usually it's not like that. You just jerk off every some days, every
Mm.
second day, or every 10 days again and
Mm.
again.
Yeah.
So I noticed actually the real problem is the identification. So that that I saw myself as a porn addict, and because I saw myself as addicted, and I thought also I need porn, I can't live without porn. Because I thought all of this,
Mm.
I it was not possible for me to let go of it. I mean, before I started to watch porn, I never thought this. So it must be something else. So it must be it must be something psychological. Because at some age I was never watching porn, and I never thought I need it or
Mm.
that I'm an addict. I just don't know.
Mm.
I was playing something else, playing games. I don't know,
Mm.
going out. So it's psychological. Um, you are conditioned to watch porn
Mm.
and not to stop. And this is why willpower don't work, because if you see yourself as addicted, or yeah, someone who can't live without porn, when you try willpower, your subconscious tries to, how can I say it, to recreate that in what you believe. So you have to fail to tell yourself at the end that that you can never get out of it.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting. Do you think it's just you, or do you think it's the porn industry?
What do you mean with just me?
Do you think it's more to do with yourself, or do you think in terms of you've got the problem with, rather than it's the porn?
Yeah, the porn industry is of course fucked up.
Mm.
But yeah, if I watch porn or not, this is of course it's dependent on me. So I mean, porn exists, and I guess it will also further exist, even if it's not good. But there are still people who don't watch it,
Mm.
and maybe you will never watch it again.
Mm.
So it's always dependent on you.
Mm.
Um, yeah, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the problems is with porn, like the porn industry and all that?
The problem, the
Yeah.
thing is that if you watch porn, you know Red Pill 2, right? So you
Yeah.
become more feminine. This is why I believe it don't work if you first focus on woman while you watch porn, because you build up feminine energy. You get also more lazy and that kind of stuff. It will be better if you first stop and then first start to work on yourself, and after you focus on this.
Mm.
So I just know if you watch porn, I know it from my experience, then you start to build up shame and guilt. The more you watch it, the more shame and guilt you have it.
Mm.
Also, something interesting that I have to say is I started Nofap.
Mm.
Um, I said already I tried it, then I fucked up, then I tried again. The usual cycle. The thing is, the more I failed, the less I could believe that I can get out of it.
Mm.
So I tried it, and every time I fucked up, I believed less that I can get out of it.
Mm.
At some points, I even tried it, but subconsciously, I didn't already believe that I can get out of it because I fucked up so many times. And this is because you use this willpower method. You just count the streak and you hope that because you're so motivated, you get out of it. But for most of the people, it will never be the case. And then they fail, and then they're even more frustrated. And every time you lose more and more hope. So you have to focus on the psychological side of this to get out of it.
Mm. What? Why before? What was life like for you before Nofap?
Before NoFap. Um, Before NoFap, I did already some personal development. So I started already 1 year ago, something like that. I was going to the gym, but I still had sleep problems. Yeah, remember, I had huge sleep problems. I still jerked off to fall asleep and that kind of stuff. I still did it at the evening very hard. I believe before I did personal development and as I was watched sport, it was the most terrible life. As I started at least to go to the gym, um, yeah, and work on myself, like reading books about personal development, it was already better. I still jerked off 1 till 2 hours every evening, also sometimes to fall asleep, sometimes in the midnight. Um, but I noticed as I stopped watching porn and also watch less social media, I think they are both connected anyway in the most cases. Then I was less like that. I don't know how to explain. I was more focused. So you are somehow subconsciously a bit like a zombie. The more you let go of this and social media as well, so that kind of stuff, and maybe also reduce playing games. Yes, then you get more clear in your head. And besides this, the energy level is really huge. I before I now before I was now coming to this results, like now I'm over 6 months. I did already I did NoFap and I was jerking off just only 10 days, but my energy level was still sometimes it was not constant. So after I managed now to completely let go of it, I started to have constant energy levels. So I'm really able to get the things done every day, except my schedule is not working like I planned. So that was like that. And for first time, if you really overcome it, you have just a great breakthrough because you know you can do it. And it's not just like that you did count to 5 or 10 days, but you know you can keep going like that forever. So my integrity, my self-respect was for me, and my performance that I was able to do just more, to achieve more. That was the best case for me. That I was able to do more. I had, of course, more free time. That's obvious. You have a lot more free time. Um, more integrity, so you are able to do what you say. I think this is what frustrates people the most. They say they stop porn, but then they just fall back again.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, what I know you just mentioned a few points just then. But what would you like long term? What would you like long term? Like, what's your long term goals? Quitting porn and no fab.
I don't have real long-term goals for that anymore. My
Oh,
long-term goal was just my long-term goal is just keep going like that, making it hardcore. But I don't see it anyway. I don't see at this point that I'm doing no fab. I believe people who do no fab, these are the people who fuck off because the concept of no fab itself can be a problem. Because the first things that I remember that I learned in NoFap was, of course, porn is bad. This is the good point. But the bad thing is that you learn you have to count the streak and you just have to try harder. This is what most people do, but when it will really work, they will not fail. They will have results. So it does not work. So yes, porn is bad. Is the good part, and you should not watch it. But the thing with the willpower and just trying harder, this that does not work. So at some point, I was giving up NoFap. I'm not doing NoFap anymore. I just continue my life. Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. So, what are some benefits that you got now that you just didn't think of before.
The benefits.
Yeah, like things that you just never thought of, but you got now, and like simply quitting porn and doing Nofap in the first place.
Um, the last benefits are just, yeah, it becomes at one point normal. So you feel your sexual energy, you feel the sexual arousal, but you don't connect it with porn. It happens really rarely that you connect it with porn. So people say, someone, I'm not sure who asked me, but someone asked me, "Hey, how do you deal with urges, dude? What for urges?" Of course, you have to start urges, but later you just did forget that before you was watching porn, you was also horny and you had a boner. But but your first thought was not, I watch porn now because I have a boner. You just thought, okay, I have a boner. Uh, so at some point you just getting horny, but you don't connect it with watching porn. This is also important. And that you stop think like that. Ah, yeah, oh God, oh, I'm horny. Oh God, how can I stop watching porn? If you think like that, then you're always connected with porn. You're just horny. That's all. So stop always think about porn when you're horny. You're just horny. It has nothing to do with porn. You're just horny. So
Oh, yeah, that's I never thought of that. Yeah, you'll end up stop connecting things with porn and all that. Just a few
what
minutes.
I
Yeah,
what I wanted to ask you is,
yeah.
how do you focus on yourself?
I read a lot of self development stuff as well, or listen to podcasts when I'm doing other things as well.
Mhm,
I do try to physically exercise a bit. Um, of course, there's um, other areas of life that I've got to work on as well, like my cigarettes, for example. Um, Pretty much, look, I'm probably more connected to drug and alcohol addictions than anything else, and that probably with the sex stuff probably stems from that.
mhm.
Because I've been physically clean from drugs and alcohol for just over 10 years now.
I'm not sure if I understand you. Do you mean you stopped drinking alcohol or you're still drinking?
I stopped
Ah, okay.
both drugs and alcohol. Um, so I think a lot of that stuff stems from that. It seems to be a common thing in recovery that when you become physically clean from drugs and alcohol, it that addiction parts diverse into other areas of life. Either cigarettes, food, porn, sex, codependency in other relationships and stuff. Um, so pretty much what it is, it's me trying to focus on, like I said, life skills, character building, um, getting education. Um, I've developed an interest in academics and stuff of that nature. Um, so me personally, just because I've always used porn as a substitute. That's
Hmm.
been my problem for rather than building actual connections or fixing myself first or healing whatever. So that's what I've been trying to do, like learn how to have it interact in a healthy adult way with myself, my sexual energy and all that stuff. And then learn how to interact with other people in a healthy manner. So
Um, so you mean you stopped your drugs and now you only smoke and you also still watch porn sometimes, or?
yeah, when I was doing porn, like before NoFap, I was probably I wouldn't. It wasn't for like long periods of time or anything like that. But I was doing it daily, or when I that sexual urges would pop up. And once it was done, I wouldn't think about porn. I wouldn't look at it or anything like that until the next urge and stuff.
Mhm.
And that's listening to the no fap stuff and those documentaries that I saw. I definitely related to the guy's point of view, because he was kind of they just relied on porn or sex workers or whatever their story is, and they've never learnt life skills of interacting with women or having a healthy dating relationships and stuff. So for a period of time, that's what I was doing because I had that instant fix of just looking at porn rather than having a healthy relationship with a woman. So that's where I kind of relate on personally.
Mm.
And that's just my story, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's one thing I did notice too, that I see women less as sex objects
Mm,
as I stopped watching porn.
yes, yes. And I was about to ask, what do you? I probably vaguely know what your response is, but you just mentioned like social media and other things. How do you think social media and the porn industry is relatable, or how they connect?
Ah, you mean that?
Yeah, it's just full of people who end up watching this live stream and stuff. You get,
I mean, for both in both cases, if you watch it, you lose dopamine,
mm,
and yeah, you get just weaker. You have less of
mm,
this reward hormone, so the dopamine. If you watch it, and most people get triggered also because they are just bored and watch social media or something over the computer
mm,
all day long. So usually you watch social media, then you see a hot babe or something like that, then you start to jerk
yeah,
off. And even if you don't watch porn, you still watch too much cat videos and that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And
There's damn cat videos. Yeah,
yeah, those damn cat videos. So yeah, and because of these cat videos and social media, yeah, you just you lose yourself in that, and just get distracted. It's also one thing that steals your clarity and focus. You become like that
mm,
if you do too much of that.
yeah. I get that.
It steals really your energy and your focus also
Mm,
from on your day and yourself. Yeah.
yeah, the mental clarity. Yeah. But yeah, that's just briefly my story as well. Just because I was using it as a substitute sort of thing to get just look at porn to get to relieve my sexual energy, then I'll continue for my day and just not think about it again. And I'll go through another day, watch it, relieve my sexual energy, go on with my day, and then I would have long periods of time, sort of thing, of not interacting with women or not knowing the skills or not knowing how to help a healthy relationship. So a lot of it's not to do with like I'm not 100% you know blaming porn and stuff like that. It's more myself that I haven't used my recovery time to build up um, the proper healthy life skills to do that with other people. So that's the reason why I first quit the porn to have like you just said have better mental clarity
Hmm.
and I'll have more time and I'll be able to work on myself because I would use this as a fix, as a hit to get it out of my system so I can move on with my day. And because I was using it as a fix, I would have the false sense of sort of thing. Yeah.
For me, it was also a bit similar. So I was also I was not only watching porn, I was also playing a lot of games. I could really not stop. I was doing it like the whole day, maybe sometimes like nearly the whole night,
Mm-hmm.
and watching series and using social media, YouTube. It was YouTube most of the time. So I was yeah, I was like that all the time. I get got triggered all the time. And besides the porn addiction, it was really hard to let go of this gaming part or social media part. That I stop watch the series and get something else. I think at this point it's also important that you just not focus to stop with it, but to focus on building something else because you can just do nothing. You have to do something different.
What's your experience with games and stuff? Because for guys, video games might be a big problem for them as
Uh,
well.
what do you mean? I'm not sure.
Oh, did you have issues with playing video games way too much?
Are people who play video games too much?
Yeah, yeah. What's your experience with video games?
Yeah, you get yourself fucked up. You have a frozen screen. I'm not sure if it's me or it's you.
Sorry, yeah, that was my internet connection. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, there's this YouTuber, I think he's really famous, Hamza. Maybe you know him?
I've
Hamza?
heard. I don't know much about him, but I've heard of him.
Yeah, and he says people who play video games are just fucked up most of the time or don't focus on their purpose. So that's true.
Mm,
I
yeah.
can only imagine it playing it one or two times, maybe a month at maximum. Um, Maybe one time a year, something like that. So if you play all day, I can only imagine that it has a reason if you make money through that. So if you have really a gaming career, because then at least you have make tons of money through that and that kind of stuff, or you make esports, you know. But if you play it, usually you people usually do it to distract themselves because they don't know what to do, what else to do. Yeah. So what you don't know what else to do because of that you play video games, and they cost you also a lot of time, and it's hard to fill this time with something else if you play much of it. If I as I was playing 10 hours every day, of course it was hard to replace it. I did not even know what the fuck should I do for 10 hours every day. Yeah.
That's a long time. Yeah.
Are you watching social media or play video games? Do you play video games?
No, I didn't initially when I first got off drugs and alcohol. I was playing a little bit of video games, but that quitting that actually in terms of video games specifically. Quitting that actually was pretty easy for me. Um,
Hmm.
I just don't know why. Just the way that's just how it turned out for me. In terms of how I use social media, I would say I wouldn't have a unhealthy relationship with it. Sure, from time to time I'll be watching stupid videos or just use it for nonsense. Um, but overall, it's all right. Like I said, I like to listen to a lot of podcasts. The podcasts are actually educational based, um, more than for entertainment. Um, I when I do try to post stuff, it's mainly for actual with purpose than anything else. Very rarely that I'll post anything stupid or just whatever. Um, but it's all right. But I can see how I try to make a living out of it, with social like with YouTube videos and anything else. It's predominantly for that. With my personal Facebook page, I predominantly post actual helplines and stuff for people like with actual life issues and stuff like that.
What is your job, right? Where do you work?
I work at besides the money, the little bit of money that I make from the YouTube videos and stuff from Google AdSense. Normally work as a chef if I need the money. Or I write ebooks as well, so
I'm not sure if I understand it right. Can you repeat that?
I do make a little bit of money from Google AdSense um, on YouTube,
Hmm.
and sometimes I do make a little bit of money with the ebooks that I write.
Hmm.
I write like short stories, philosophy, poetry, and all that stuff of that nature. Um, that money comes in and out, so it does vary. But when I do need the money, um, I work as a chef. So I'm a chef by trade. So yeah.
Okay. I work as internet provider. I have two jobs. One is an internet provider here in my town, and the other is that I started as coach. It was already 1 year ago. So I'm basically like a porn addiction coach and a coach for a healthy lifestyle. So to
Nice.
implement habits, that kind of stuff.
What's it like to teach that, for porn addiction and stuff?
What? Can you repeat it?
What's it like teaching porn addiction and helping people quit?
You mean what I teach people who have porn addiction?
Yeah, like what do you do as the job? What does that job consist of?
Yeah, the first part is this is what I already said at the start of this video. I said already some stuff. The most root issues come from this psychological part, where you have this identification, and I basically help to resolve this identification with porn. Because just because you count and try harder, it usually never work, and you just relapse. So yeah, I focus most of the time on this psychological part, to let go of this, to question it, to to make this. At the end, these are just emotions. You have just conditioned emotions to porn and thoughts that you can't let it go, and all other kind of thoughts. You have basically to destroy them. You can do it, for example. One easy step for the start is just through questioning it. Do I read? I am really a porn addict? Do I really need porn? Do I really? Is it really true that I can't live without it? So just by doing this, maybe also writing it down, you can make it weaker. The You can make the connection to it weaker. So the goal is always that don't see yourself as addicted at all, and this is when it works. But people make it turn around. They believe they have first to reach 90 days or 1 year or a half year. I saw also a guy, he said, you are just free after 2 years. Studies shows after 2 years you are free, not addicted. But if you really think like that, if this is your mindset, you will never get out. Then because you have to first see yourself as free, and then you start to be free. If you say I have first to reach 90 days or even more, some people believe it's half year or 1 year, then it will always be a struggle. In the most cases, you will just fall back. Yeah.
So
This is.
nice. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
I just want to say, I believe it's you can use this also on other addictions. Yeah, I
That's
there's
good.
also an interesting book. It's from Alan Carr. It's something. The name is something like "Quit Smoking," something like that. I
Yeah,
can.
it's a famous book. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, it's also built up on that to focus more on the psychological stuff just for people who smoke. So it's really good.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people recommend that book to me. Yeah. A lot of people. I
Well,
have to buy it.
yeah. So beside this, yeah, I just help people to build up positive habits, like making sport, meditation, cold shower, journaling, maybe visualization. Can be also other habits, so that they have a better sleep, better structure in the day,
Mm,
feel themselves better about themselves, and be consistent with that. Not just trying and stopping, but also doing it consistently. Yeah. So,
You mentioned earlier that you do meditation. So how did you get into meditation?
that's a long story. I think meditation was one of the first things I started with as I started personal development. So everything started for me as I was in a clinic. It was 5 or 6 years ago. I was really hardcore depressed, and I had some kind of paranoia and social phobia and complexes as fuck. And after this clinic, I thought I have to change my life. I must do something else, or I don't want to live like that. So I was meeting a friend later, an old friend, and he was into Buddhism and that kind of stuff, so he used meditation. And then I just tried meditation too. I was not I don't even remember honestly why I continued it. I did it for 3 months, something like that, and then I stopped it. Later I started it again. Later I tried also different kind of meditations. And now I'm doing like for 2 years I was just doing meditation straight. So sometimes I was also just replacing it with other habits. Yeah, and meditation can really help you to live better with yourself or to get your emotional triggers to increase your awareness of your emotional triggers. It can yeah, it can really help with that.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you recommend any sort of form of meditations for beginners? Or,
the most simple meditation. Just focus on your breath. Just focus on your breath and feel
slow
it.
it down. Yeah.
Yeah, I would always start with the easiest part and as easy as possible. And
Of course.
later you can improve it to other meditations or yeah.
Alright. That's so cool. So, is there anything you'd like to talk about or ask? Or
I have said everything what I wanted to say. Do you have something left?
uh, okay. For anyone who's new to Nofap, where would you recommend them to go find out more?
Uh, what do you mean?
Like if somebody you just met has never heard of Nofap or problems with porn,
Hmm.
where would you recommend them? Where would you recommend them? Sorry, excuse me. Where would you recommend them to go to find out more about Nofap for beginners and stuff?
It depends if he already knows that porn is bad.
Mm.
If you don't know that porn is bad, then just I would just recommend the Facebook groups, the Nofap forum.
Okay.
But if you just already knows that porn is bad, there's a book that's called the Easy Peasy Method. It's really good.
Yeah. To,
It,
to, the basic response would be to get educated about the porn industry and stuff, about porn.
yeah, if he already knows that porn is bad, then
Mm.
you don't have to get educated that much. You just have to resolve this problem that you overcome that you overcome this addiction, that you don't see yourself as addicted.
Mm.
So I would just recommend the easy peasy method then, and if he's really into it and want to do it fast, just get a mentor.
Mm.
Just get a
Yeah.
mentor and do it as fast as possible. Or I would also look for people who are already in the long run, like who are already way beyond this usual addiction, but was addicted in the past, and then just learn from them.
Mm. Yeah. Cool. Oh, do you have any questions for me or anything like that, or
No, no, nothing
no,
left. Yeah.
nothing left? Cool. So, or you like? Is there anything you like to talk about or discuss? Any different other subjects or?
No, no, I have now really to go.
No
So,
worries, boss.
you can also send me the video to me. It will be really great.
Yeah, of course. I'll do a couple touch ups on it to add in
Yeah.
some information. And then once that's done, I'll be able to send you a link.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
No worries. And feel free to share it and do whatever.
Okay, thank you.
It was nice meeting you. Okay.
Bye bye.